Hi. Thanks for tuning in to my official YouTube channel. I'm Reverend MeeLing, also known as Susan MeeLing, Reverend Susan MeeLing, Lady MeeLing, Lady Dori Belle, Lady MeeLing, Marianne, whatever. I've been known by a few names as ways. So, I figured I'm going to be a little ornery. So I'm going to discuss, since having to do this in a more up-close sort of aspect, I thought it would be fun to go over something I haven't talked about in a while. Possibly. I don't know. I have memory issues because of that head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000. And all that stuff. So, there was this time where I had gone to Fast Eddie's. And it was because of a pool tournament that Cactus Jack, also known as Jeffrey Kirkendall Jr., was a part of. And he would wear that 151 Road Warrior t-shirt thing. Okay? That particular day, or night, technically, I was wearing my white t-shirt that had a VW bug, the old VW bug, painted like the American flag. It had glitter and shinies in it and stuff like that. And, a pair of jeans. And so, while I would guesstimate the teammates of the opposing team in the pool league tournament at Fast Eddie's probably did not understand the way that whole aspect had come about, nonetheless, I wound up being the substitute because Jeremy Kirkendall, Cactus Jack, also known as Jeffrey Kirkendall Jr.'s younger brother, his girlfriend, Leslie, at the time, wasn't able to make it to the tournament. Those guys did not want to forfeit. And so they asked me if I would play. I hadn't played pool since when I was in New Jersey growing up, going to Old Tenet Presbyterian Church. And granted, I was actually pretty good. Wait, no. I played a couple times when I was in Illinois. But I was much better back before my head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000. And so, I looked at them and I was like, I don't think you really want me to play. I really don't. And they said, no, you gotta play. Don't want to forfeit, because the team going up against was the best team in the pool league. And so I was like, well, if you really have to have that, okay, I guess. So, the way the pool league tournaments were, at least at that time, I'm sure probably very similar in certain regards. You have two tables, and one of the teammates of each team sits out while the other two teammates play against the others. And so, I'm watching this guy play. And he's going up against Cactus Jack, also known as Jeffrey Kirkendall Jr., and Cactus Jack, also known as Jeffrey Kirkendall Jr., wearing his 151 Road Warrior t-shirt. And I was like, all right. So, the guy that was on the best team takes a shot. And it was one of those shots where it was like, you're... you might as well wait till the next shot, but at least set yourself up for that next shot as best as you can, because the majority of balls were off of the table. And so, they just set it up so that way you could, get it in there, no problem. And so this guy scratches on the 8 ball. And he doesn't actually sink the 8 ball. He just scratched. So for those who understand pool league stuff, it's not the same. And so he picked up the cue ball and threw it. I have no filter. So I said, well, why'd you forfeit the game? Oh, that guy turns around, gets in my face. Now, mind you, much, much taller than me. Much, much taller than me. And gets in my face and he's like, I didn't forfeit the game. Blah, 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 blah. And then he runs over to get the cue ball, puts it back on the table. And I said, yeah, but you still forfeited the game because that's not where that cue ball was going to land. And stop. That guy, blah, 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 blah. I didn't forfeit, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you did. You did. He looks at me, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm fairly certain if you're in a pool tournament and you pick up the cue ball after the pool game begins and you throw it off of the table, I think that is considered a forfeit. The guy, no. You don't know what you're talking about. Well, why don't you ask a referee? Why don't you go ask the referee? I mean, you are part of the best pool team in this league, right? The guy was like, yeah. Oh, okay. Well, then you should probably not need that referee to tell you that you forfeited by picking up the cue ball and throwing it off the table. Probably don't need that referee to tell you that, you being the best team in the league. And the guy, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 blah. And yet, you want to complete playing that game, but you picked up the cue ball and threw it. Those facts really made that guy mad. Like, he really, really got mad at me. I'm just standing there. I'm just like, well, not my fault. I didn't pick up the cue ball. You picked up the cue ball. I didn't throw the cue ball. You threw the cue ball. That's not my fault. That's a your fault problem. And he just, rah, 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 rah. I was thinking that. I did not go, because I really wanted to. I really wanted to just get him on his little nose and be like, aren't you so cute trying to yell at me? Aw. I mean, he actually was. Ooh, he was. No denying that. But at that time, going like that at that point would not have been helpful whatsoever. So then he goes, well, you know what? And I'm like, what? You're a hippie. Oh, what'd you call me? What'd you say? Oh, you want to say what? What'd you say? Instantly, just like, oh, you want me to go back to New Jersey, huh? You want me to go East Coast on you? Oh, you want to call me? You calling me a hippie? Oh, no, you didn't. And that guy was just, what? You stepped to me. So you want to call me a hippie? Because I'm thinking my biological mother's sister, Aunt Chris. That's what I'm thinking. It's like, oh no, you didn't. You want to call me what? You want to call me? We're in a pool hall. I don't care. I'm wearing a gown right now. I was wearing jeans and a t-shirt at that time, and that is what it is, because it doesn't matter what I'm wearing. That is a whole other ball. If I have to, I don't want to, but if I have to, just saying. That being said, that is what it is. So, how am I a hippie? Look at your hair. I really doubt that there were that many people back then that had my hair. And I did have this haircut. Not as short, but I still had the haircut and the hair color. Just saying, I mean, I don't remember what year that was, but I'm fairly certain, you know, they didn't have this hair style or color. Just throwing that out there. Well, yeah, what? You want to call me a hippie? Come on. And the guy was just, well, you're wearing a bug on your shirt. Yeah, I got a VW bug on my shirt. What? It's painted like the American flag. What hippie do you know that would be wearing the American flag with glitter on it, by the way? And he was just, you're a hippie. Oh. You want to take that back. I'm looking up at you better take that back. You know, like the way you picked up that cue ball and threw it across the table and forfeited the game. And he just, and he just, and it's like, yeah, you crossed a line. And so this was like 2006, 2007, I think, somewhere around there. And this guy just, blah, 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 blah. I don't care. Don't you make me. I will. And so he goes, well, you know what? What? You're still a hippie. I am not a hippie. Because, again, in my thoughts, I am thinking of my biological mother's sister, Chris. And just saying. And so that guy gets all pissy. I'll pause real quick to explain. My biological mother, her sister, Chris, she actually was a hippie. In the 70s, she went against soldiers. She did what, like, the stereotype was in that time. So you could see instantly just from that. Like, so you want to what? You want to call me what? And so just on that, not even forgetting the aspects, well, that was later, certain things. But in reference to at that point in time, I had already known that she had done that to soldiers who were returning back to the United States of America from the Vietnam War era. And I was like, oh, who you want to compare me to who? Who do you think you're going to compare me to? Oh, I don't think so. Like, don't. I will go New Jersey on you like you don't even know. And don't. And it doesn't change the fact that you picked up the cue ball and threw it across the I don't care. Call me. Just saying. Cactus Jack, also known as Jeffrey Kirkendall Jr., and Jeremy Kirkendall are both just standing there going, why does she have to talk like that to him? What? None of them were like, hey, stop it. Don't, run your mouth to her. Not even as a warning. They really set that guy up for failure. Nonetheless, not even as a warning did they give that guy who threw the cue ball across. and forfeited the pool game in the tournament. And so, that was what he did. And so I'm sure there's a video of something. I'm throw the cute. And so, but they also didn't ever step up to be like, males and be like, don't say that about, her. Like, nothing. Just stay there on the side going, oh, really? All right, well, it's not like I don't know how to defend myself. Like, don't make me. And so that guy stomps off. Just, rah, 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 rah. Yeah, you still forfeited the game. Like, And so the next game started up, and that was my turn to play, and I played, and I don't remember. I don't know. It was what it was. That guy came back over, and he goes, I want you to meet someone. Who do you want me to meet? And that guy was like, I want you to meet this guy. So we go over to the corner. And there's this guy sitting there, and he's on the bar stool at the bar table. And he's got a drink. I go over there, and I'm like, so apparently your friend wants me to meet you. And the guy was like, yeah, apparently. And so I shook his hand, and he shook mine, and we talked a bit. And the guy goes, you know who this guy is? No, who is he? And he goes, this guy had all this stuff, shrapnel. He had been in... Oh, well, thank you for your service. I don't know why he's telling me about, what you did, as if he's the one who did it, but, thank you for your service. And the guy was like, oh, I appreciated it. And so then the guy who threw the cue ball was mad because he was like, look at her. And the guy's like, uh-huh. And I'm like, what's wrong with how I look? Now you want to go, what? What? And he goes, well, look at... What? What? And guys just, well, why do you have a haircut like that? Oh, excuse me for having a head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000 after I emancipated myself so that way I could sign the dotted line to join the United States of America's Armed Forces Army Branch. Excuse me for having headaches, migraines, and other stuff after waking up from that coma from basic training. My bad. Excuse me. Sorry my hair offends you. And guys just, oh my God. What? You're a bitch. And so, like, the bar thing was, like, up here, and I put my arm on it. I'm just like, so you want to call me a bitch after calling me a hippie? Well, thank you for the compliment. Like, tell me something I don't know. And, that made that guy, rah, 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 I didn't do that, but in my thoughts, the guy in the chair is just like, what is going on? I don't know. Your friend. Your friend threw a temper tantrum. And the guy was like, you mean beyond what's going on right now? Yes. And the guy who threw the cue ball, he goes, you see, in the game of golf, and he had done that, I forgot that part. He had done that before going and getting his friend. He had told me in the game of golf that if you hit the ball and you don't get it into the hole after so many tries, it's called a birdie or something like that. But you have to have it on the green. And if after so many tries, you're allowed to whatever. And I pointed out, this is a pool hall, correct? And the guy was like, yes. So that is not a golf course, right? That's a pool table. He was like, yes. Okay. So what would happen if on a golf course, which this is not, you had picked up the golf ball and threw the golf ball? And he just, I'm just saying. You know, again, that is a pool table. That is a pool table. This is a pool hall. Those are pool balls. But you want to talk about the game of golf, which, okay, if that happens in the game of golf, okay. But this is a pool hall. At the pool table. At the pool table. Yes, it is still green, you know, felt in comparison to grass. But, you know, I think that golf balls are smaller than that cue ball, but, you know, whatever. Go ahead, you know, but I don't know if you know this. Being in a pool hall at a pool tournament with pool sticks to use to hit pool balls on a pool table means you're playing the game of pool in the pool league and not golf. I could be wrong. I think I'm accurate. Because I would imagine that a golf course is bigger than this pool table and that pool table and this pool hall. That made Gerrar so mad. That would be when he stomped off to go get his friend. And so going back to that point where, you know, his friend is just like, well, you know, he bought me a drink. So, you know, well, you know, at least you got something out of it. And he's like, well, I think I got a little bit more out of it than a drink. And I was like, oh, how so? He's like, oh my God, okay, yeah, sure. You had a head injury when? Palm Sunday in 2000. Oh. And he looks at the guy and he's like, and, you know, he was much meaner looking than that. Nonetheless, then was when the guy brought up the game of golf again. And I looked at him like, again, this is a pool hall. Like, why am I the only one who, like, did you know that this is a pool hall? To the guy that was sitting in the chair, he's like, yeah, this is a pool hall and it's a pool tournament. So what is wrong with your friend who wants to keep telling me that it is the game of golf in his reference? And the guy looks at me and goes, I don't know. Why would you reference the game of golf? And I'm like, I don't know what he's smoking. And then the guy would just, uh-huh. And so, he was so mad. He was so mad. He was just booty. So cute. You have no idea. By the way, for those who don't know, I am a dominant sadist, so, you know, him being all pouty, simply because I spoke the truth. I mean, he was already good looking. It was very, yeah, but then, you know, pouty, aww. Aren't you so precious? So cute. Are you trying to... That's not going to work that way. That's not how that goes. We have to have a discussion before that sort of stuff goes on. But aren't you cute? And so, in my thoughts, let me clarify that, in my thoughts. Nonetheless, he's all rah. In the game of golf, this is a pool hall. In the game of golf, that is a pool table. In the game of golf, that is a pool stick. In the game of golf, you threw a cue ball. In the game of golf, this is not a golf course. In the game of golf, this is a pool tournament. In the game of golf. And so it was just, oh yeah, rah, 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 rah. Okay. You still forfeited the match. And then this guy who was like 6'3" starts, I look over at his friend and I'm like, how many years old is that guy? Which, that guy who threw the cue ball did not take too kindly to me saying that. And so, you know, I told him what I had told him over at the pool table, where he threw the pool cue before telling me that he thought I was a hippie, and then about the game of golf in the pool hall, said that he was going to go, he didn't say he's going to take my advice like I had said over there, but he said he was going to go get the referee. You go get the referee. You go do that. So his friend and I started talking some more. And blah, 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 and blah, 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 and so on and so forth. Well then, the referee, real cute female. Oh, she was cute. I really, really wish I could have her hair, but she was very, very, just really pretty. Really, just, and so she comes over and she's like this tall. I'm also wearing heels right now, so there is that. But so she comes over and she's like, you, and I'm like, yes. And she goes, come with me. And I'm like, okay, what are we going to talk about? So we went to the kitchen. And so the guy, which was, you like, if you saw, you could tell he was kind of flirting with her. She's being mean to me, pointing to me. And the referee is just like, well, you know, he told me that there's some stuff that happened and blah, blah, blah. I said, yeah, he picked up a pool cue after he scratched on the 8-ball. He didn't, like, scratch in regards to getting the 8-ball in. He just missed hitting the 8-ball. And so he picked up the cue ball and threw it, and I told him that he forfeited the match. And then he called me a hippie, and then he threw a temper tantrum and a whole bunch of other stuff, and then he got you. And she looks at him, and her being shorter than me, puts her hand on her hips, and she's like, you know better. And I'm just thinking, she told you. She told you. I didn't say that in my thoughts, though. She told you. She told you. She told you. I did not say that. It was in my thoughts. And so the guy just, rah, 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 but I want to win, blah, blah, blah. And the female, the referee, she's just like, yeah, but you know the rules. You know you can't pick up the cue ball and throw the cue ball. And, you know, me. Do I have to stay here for him to continue on with the wham, or can I go? And she's like, yeah, no, you're good to go. You're clear. Awesome. Move. And so he moved out of the way. Mind you, to that point, Cactus Jack, also known as Jeffrey Kirkendall Jr., and his little brother, Jeremy Kirkendall, did nothing in reference to helping me. Nothing. Alright, fine. So, the end of that particular night's tournament happened. And there was just some fun pool ball stuff, like fun pool playing, no, like, actual tournament stuff. And that guy started heckling. He was just like, blah, 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 whenever anybody went to make a shot. He didn't do that with me. He didn't do that. Then again, I also had a pool cue in my hands, and I had the keys on my hips. And for those who know what my keychain looked like back then, well, you didn't mess with me in that regard, but it was one of those, why are you doing that? And then, okay, you still threw the cue ball. You still forfeited the match. You called me a hippie. You started it. Not my fault that I can finish it. That's a you problem for underestimating me. Okay, that's nice. And I do mean that in the Anna way. Still cute. But, and so, when leaving, and mind you, it was like 2 or 3 hours of the heckling going on. When leaving, the guy is lining up to take a shot, and Cactus Jack, also known as Jeffrey Kirkendall Jr., his brother, and I start walking towards the door. And when walking past, now Cactus Jack and Jeffrey, also known as Jeffrey Kirkendall Jr., he walks first, and then is his little brother, Jeremy Kirkendall, and they're at the door. I accidentally drop something. I pick it up. I go walk. As I walk just to the edge of the pool table, the guy who threw the cue ball and told me about the game of golf in the pool hall, about the game of pool, had yelled out, "Bitch!" I turn around. I go, "Well, thank you for noticing my Asian Chinese heritage. How'd you know I'm half Chinese and was born in the year of the dog? You have a good night." And I just walk out the door. I don't know what he did. I would guess maybe he threw a temper tantrum some more. And so, leave, then week or two later, same thing going on. Multiple weeks in a row. This guy just keeps heckling in the game of golf in a pool hall. The ref made the call. The ref said you forfeited the match. The ref said I was correct. That's not my fault. But he wouldn't stop with the heckling. And it didn't matter. And I was like, all right. So about like 4 or 5 weeks go by. Alright. Call me a hippie. I want to keep on heckling. Alright. So, he had this shot that he had lined up. He wasn't going to make it. It didn't matter. He was not going to make that shot. Nonetheless, walk up behind him. He's got the pool cue ready to go. The pool stick ready to go hit the pool cue, and get up real close behind him. I didn't yell. I went, boo. And messed up he still hit the ball. He actually got a better shot, ironically. Turns around and boo. Just to let you know, this is a pool hall. He was mad. He made a better shot. He actually got one of the balls in. And if I didn't do that, he just nonetheless. A few weeks of this continues going on. And he... He's playing. Didn't get up behind him. Walked on the side. Booga, booga, booga. you mad? Maybe if you were playing the game of golf, you would have had a better swing. Boogada, boogada, boogada. He was so mad. So mad. And yet at the same time, it was one of those, well, you started it if you didn't call me a hippie. I mean, you know, the whole aspect as far as the him throwing the cue ball and that sort of stuff. It's one of those, okay, you know, nonetheless, I am not a hippie. Do not make that mistake. Do not insult me, like, by calling me a hippie. And at that time, you know, like, especially, now I know that there are good hippies. I do know that. I do know that. I knew that back then. It was just the majority of the ones that I had seen, known. They were not good hippies. No, they were not. Go research my biological mother's freaking sister, Christine Gavitt. Garen or Christine Gavitt. And just saying. And so, however, I know that there are good hippies out there, and not all hippies from that time frame were like that. I know that. I knew that then. However, my biological mother had brought up some stuff as far as her sister, Christine, and it was like either that day or a couple of days before going to play pool, and I wasn't in a good mood in reference to that. And so, you know, that guy, rah, 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 rah. However, he called me a hippie just because I thought, and again, it was a VW bug, but it was painted with the American flag in glitter. I don't know how you don't see that being, like, not hippie. And then again, my haircut, the hair color are not hippie. Just saying. But he still picked up the cue ball at a pool hall while holding a pool stick from the pool table during a pool tournament. And tried to tell me that it was the game of golf. So that's what I had to say in reference to that. And if he blamed me for that 151 Road Warrior to the baby temper tantrum that Cactus Jack, also known as Jeffrey Kirkendall Jr., did, I told him that he sounded like a terrorist, so I'll just say it. Mm-hmm. And that guy better not have caused problems for my Medal of Honor project. But definitely better not have caused problems for my son, my daughter, and our family. That would be a bigger problem. But yes. Just saying, I would like to believe that that guy wouldn't be that dumb. Because, you know, that whole aspect of, you know, it's as simple as researching, especially in regards to not like I am a ninja or camo. Just call me a hippie. Again, I know that there are hippies that are good. And I know that. I knew that then. Just saying. Just because I had a VW bug on my shirt with glitter and an American flag. to see. Anyway, you guys have a good one. Like, share, and subscribe to my official YouTube channel. Have a good one. That was not ninja.